Welcome, everybody, to the R&R Catcast, a fan-based podcast focusing on Montana State athletics. We're two dudes named Ryan from the state of Washington talking about our dear Montana State. We hope you enjoy.
And good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, Bobcat fans. I am your R&R basketball host. And tonight I am a happy Cats fan because I am not only joined by the two Ryans for the first time since the season started. Boys, we're coming off a big win tonight, and we just came off another big win against Idaho State. How you guys doing tonight?
Feeling good.
I'm doing really good. Good to see the Cats winning on the road.
Yeah. I'm happy. I know we had some scheduling conflicts and we were going to do this earlier in the week, but I'm kind of happy we're doing it tonight because I'm happy we're not doing this after the brawl because I was really, even though we lost, especially by 10, I was pretty impressed with our performance. But man, doing this after two big wins, especially a road win like that, once again, we're right back into the fray of things. We're right back into what the Big Sky is and some results tonight. Eastern's clearly at the top, but everybody's just kind of jumbled in there. It's a fight.
Basketball is so different than football, man. You can lose a game and it doesn't completely destroy your season. So, yeah. And in Cat Griz, you get a crack at them later. So it's not quite as devastating.
Nope. And big thing with 10-point loss to the Griz. First impressions, we'll just start with that game and kind of open up from there. I thought the first 5 to 10 minutes was just the fastest basketball we've played all year. It was so fast. Just in person, like just seeing that, I was like, we are moving up and down the court. We are running. It was a packed house. The energy was in the building for the first time all year. Boy, that was fast. And just kind of early impressions of that game.
Yeah, the tempo on that game was fast paced. One of the fast paced starts I've seen for the Cats in terms of, like you said, pushing the tempo, pushing the shots, getting some shots up. It's fun to watch.
Yep. And man, I can't believe it was kind of uncharacteristic. I just think we ran out of gas in the second half when Garacki hit that three to only be down 3 at half, 33-36, I believe. I thought we were in it. I thought we were going to stay in it. I thought it was going to be another classic Bobcat game where it'd come down to the last 5 to 7 minutes, but things just got away from us. And then I said it in the preview episode, Logie, he was like, we played in big games and stuff like that. Man, that place was packed. Shout out to Bobcat Nation. We were packed. We were ready. I also have the thought that game should always be played, whether it's at our place or their place. The first brawl game needs to be played right when students get back in. Students were 2 or 3 days back into class. The energy was there. It was pumped up. I think that should be just like rivalry day right there. That was awesome.
Well, it typically is. I mean, the Cat Griz game, the schedules are normally pretty reflective year to year. So it's good. I mean, shout out to the women. Let's not forget them. They took down the Grizzlies, and the women we know are very shorthanded. It was something I was watching from my car as we were coming back from skiing. And feel really bad for Kaylin Lamardo. That was really weird watching it. And then watching it in my car, I was going, did time stop? Because that took 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah,
but
she was down for a while.
It was a long time.
Yeah. The Grizzlies jumped out on the Lady Cats, and then we were able to come back and hang a W on those guys, which was always a good feeling. But back to the men's game.
Wasn't 18-3 in the women's game?
Yeah. Exactly. And then she texted us, yeah. I thought the women were going to get shellacked or something, and then we came back and we were like, yes, go Cats.
It was a great comeback. And is there any update on Lamardo real quick before we move on?
I believe she's doing
she's
well.
okay.
I think she's out of the hospital and stuff. I know nothing more as of this moment on that, but I also think going into the Idaho State game, they got shellacked. It kind of was like the reversed opposite where the men's team kind of shellacked Idaho State for most of the game, and then the women's team got beat pretty badly and then kind of made a comeback at the end that fell short. And I just kind of felt like, man, their hearts were in a different place. Coming off something like that it's just hard to come back on a day's rest and be like, hey, we're going on the road. And we just had this massive thing happen in our team. So
plus an emotional win over your rival on top.
Yeah, of that exactly. Too. Yeah. So a game that you've kind of been hyped up for, but I believe they came back and they won tonight. So we got a sweep of Sac State, which was awesome.
Stingers down.
Stingers down.
Way down. As Thorny likes to say. I like that.
Down.
It was crazy to watch the second half of that Cat Grizz game, though. Grizzlies just got poker hot. I mean, they shot 66 from the field and like 64 from 3-point line. Like, who does that? That's wild.
Moody couldn't miss, man.
Yeah, no, guy in his face, wide open, 5 feet from the line. He was hitting everything. It was crazy.
I do think that our perimeter defense wasn't very good. I thought the Grizz had a lot of open shots. They're also good at creating open shots, so maybe not necessarily bad defense, but they got the shots they wanted and they hit them.
Yep.
And what are you gonna do when a team shoots 64% from downtown?
They were also much taller than us in the paint too. I mean, they just had dudes. It was just it. I hate putting our guys down, but they just had dudes. I mean, their guys were just taller. I mean, that's kind of when the rebounding battle and stuff. They were just a little more conditioned. They were a little bigger, and they would just hit the shots they needed to hit. Kudos for them for coming into our building though in front of that crowd. That was awesome to see that place sold out and packed like that. That was pretty sweet.
I did not love watching Moody and one of the other players blow some kisses and wave goodbye to the student section there at the end. I'm like, we got to get him back in Missoula.
Yep.
I want to see Robert Ford blowing some smoochies.
Some Julius Davis Weber State smooches down the sideline.
Exactly.
I still think he was calling for a face mask. I don't think that was a smooch. That was my hot take of the year. You thought it was? I thought it was a face mask.
100%.
I watched that multiple times.
Anan Mooney didn't miss, but his haircut sure did. So
he's always got a haircut like that, man. He's always got something weird.
Oh, did you see that Sac State player?
Did you see Sac State's
collective?
Yeah,
the bandana. It's like it's like a reverse monk cut or something. It was interesting.
I've never heard what a reverse monk.
I don't know what that is. It happened.
You just made that up.
Yeah.
That's
anyway,
good.
So we went into, I guess I call it a gym because it's not an arena, because in order to be an arena, I feel like you have to have more than 300 people. I enjoyed, for anybody listening, did anybody else enjoy the commentary of the Sac State announcer tonight? Because there was multiple times I was trying to follow different things on my phone and I just had to look at him like, what are you talking about?
He
rambling story about buying a guitar on Main Street in Bozeman years ago and learning to play it. I'm just like, dude, game, come on.
He had some interesting anecdotes for sure.
It just reminded me of like a middle of summer baseball announcer who just has nothing better to talk about and is getting bored at a noon game, just going on rambling. But it's fun. It's fun with these Big Sky games when you just got these announcers. And I just think sometimes they think, is anybody listening to me out here right now? And it's like, yes, we are. Come on, man.
Some people are. Yeah.
Yep, we're out here.
Our buddy Corey posted on Bobcat Nation that the announcers sound like a sad version of me. I was like, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that a sad version of me? Like Eeyore? Thorny Eeyore?
Well, Thorny Eeyore.
Sure, Corey.
That's kind of how we felt after the Bison football loss. I think that was sad Eeyore Thorny.
Yeah. I've been sad on this podcast plenty of times, okay?
Yeah. It's true.
Oh, yeah. But, well, we're off to Portland State. Did they beat the Griz tonight? I think they were just hammering them earlier.
I'm watching the game
Is that official yet?
Yeah, I'm watching it too. Keep my
They're
eye
still
on it.
Okay. Minute 49 left. I think I have Portland State up 69, Montana 46. So
yeah, they're going to go ahead and win that basketball game. I'm going to call it.
Once again, the churn of the Big Sky comes to fruition, where we just have, who's number 2, who's number 1, who's on first. I mean, man, that Northern Colorado loss is Northern Colorado win, I should say, for us is looking better and better every day. I mean, that could be one that later in the year we're really happy we came down with that one.
Well, this just goes to prove it's hard to win on the road in the Big Sky.
Yeah,
so we should be happy we beat Sac State. Sac State's not that good of a basketball team, but we won on the road, man. It's huge. And I don't think we had done real well on the road to this point. That's like kind of the next thing you got to learn as a head coach in the Big Sky is coaching in these weird road venues. And it was a good win for Logie and the team.
Yep. I think it's almost that, it could be there's Eastern, there's the rest of the conference, and then there's 50 feet, and then there might be Idaho. which is kind of a shame because they have that really nice venue. I've watched a couple Idaho games, and it's
a nice stadium.
That's a really nice stadium, but oh boy, things are not going well down there, and it could be just a dogfight. It just could be a churn, and to add Weber into that conversation, they're 3-4, I think, in conference now, and things aren't going well. And I thought they'd be up undefeated at this point. So
yeah,
that's definitely a surprise. We'll see how they'll do on the other side of the conference, but goodness, they're, I think, 6th in the conference right now. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, Eastern's looking like the cream of the crop.
They move the ball really well. They have like a veteran team, a lot of juniors, a lot of guys like Magnuson and Chinstrap or whatever his
Venters.
name is. Yeah, well, Venters is over at
Venters
Gonzaga.
is at Gonzaga. He's not. He's injured. He's not playing. Yeah, he transferred, and then
I don't remember Venters transferring. No, that's how much I've been paying. They got Casey Jones still.
Casey Jones, yeah, that square jawed.
That's who I was thinking of. I think is actually Casey Jones.
Yeah, so they got a lot of guys that stayed around. Cedric Howard, another guy, a lot of juniors, a lot of big dudes, and they played tough over here in Genie. I'll tell you that. So they're on top for sure right now. So they'd be a top 9 power rankings. But I want to talk a little bit about the Bobcats. Go figure. I think the Cats are playing a little bit above their pay grade right now. I think we're playing really well as far as just scoring the ball. I was pretty impressed with Walker around the rim. He's got some smooth moves around the rim. He can actually make some really tough layup shots. Where I think the Bobcats are going to be kind of challenged is when we start playing teams like the Grizzlies who have like really big guys. Like Sac State has some big dudes. And I think the last time I checked, we got rebounded probably by 6 rebounds. And so, Zach, there's your stat for you. But we still won the game today, right? But when we play Weber or definitely Eastern with some bigger dudes, I don't know how the Cats are going to continue to muck it up with those guys because unless our shots are falling, we're not going to be winning the rebound.
Yep. We were out rebounded 31-37 tonight. However, in the 3-point battle, a reverse of our normal season, we were 8 of 15 from 3. They were 4 of 18. So that's kind of where the points came from. And it was nice to see us win that battle tonight. When you said bringing up the teams playing kind of above their weight right now, kind of, above where they should be, that's a sign of a good coach. And I've noticed that too with the team. I'm like, hey, I think we've turned the corner a little bit. I thought I noticed towards the right after the South Dakota State game. I'm like, we might have something a little more. And I do think we're playing above our talent level. I think Logie's figured out a couple things on the strategic side of the house. And that's been cool to see, and that's a sign of a good coach right there. So that I've noticed that too, and I've been pretty impressed with that.
Well, you know how you counter the rebound problem is you have 2 players in the top 5 in the league in steals, and Eddie Turner at 5th, and Robert Ford by himself up in first place. So you can mitigate some rebound disadvantages if you can still get the ball back in other ways without even letting their team ever even take a shot.
Take a look at those rebounding stats there, Thorny. Ford is number 3 in the conference.
Smallest guy in the conference is number 3 in rebounding. Man, if I was a big guy, that'd be an insult almost to me. Like that dude's Ford is a heck of a player. And again, I might say this every episode going forward. Where would we be without him? But man, if I was one of those big dudes in one of those other teams, that's got to be a little insulting.
So my take on the Cats and how they're the pay grade thing is, I don't know. At times, I think that the Cats have looked really lost. We had a stretch there, obviously, when we lost to Rocky. And then I think the next one I watched where I kind of felt that way was either CSU Northridge or Oral Roberts. I don't know. There's been a couple times where the Cats
just looked like a good game.
We just look like, what are we doing out there? We look confused. There's not good ball movement. But I feel like we've kind of figured something out a little bit. I mean, we are 4-1 in the last 5 games with the lone loss to the Griz. I don't think the Cats are necessarily playing above their pay grade. I think the Cats can play this well. I think if the shots are falling and they're moving the ball around and they're playing well as a team, I think the Cats are actually a pretty decent basketball team. And I think that that's going to play out. We don't need to score a bunch of points. We just need to play smart basketball and create turnovers.
After the dust settles, we're 5-2 in conference, and we are now the sole team in second place of the conference once again. And we are back to 10-10, so we're back to 500. So that's a nice sign where we're turning the corner, and this could be another winning season.
Yeah, I do feel like the Cats are turning a little bit of a corner. I don't know if we're going to go anywhere in the tournament or do much, but I don't know. They're playing some pretty good basketball. They're fun to watch.
They've been fun to watch. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it is. It's an entertaining brand of basketball. And when like Garaki's on and Patterson are both like knocking down 3-pointers, the Cats are super hard to beat.
Yep. My only concern too, especially on this run too, even though we've turned the corner, is that kind of second half from the 13-minute mark to about the 6 or 7-minute mark left in the game, that kind of lull. We seem to go through this lull. I don't know if it's a rotational thing where we're kind of putting the second unit in for that time, but it just seems like it's become an apparent thing of don't count anybody out no matter how big the lead is. Idaho State, I thought Idaho State was done. And then I'm like, looked up and I'm like, really? They're not without striking distance. Here we go again. And then tonight I was like, finish them. I think we had what, like a 15-point lead at one point in the second half. Yeah. And I was just like, just finish them, hit a shot and it's over. Maybe. Yeah. I was like, just finish this. And sure enough, we couldn't. And they went on a 10-0 run. So finishing has got to be a thing that's got to change, especially on the road like that. You just got to get a team down and take them out. So I'm a little worried about that going forward, but another road win. Logie's moving along, which is pretty awesome. So Garaki's finding his own. I've also noticed Patterson's been pretty quiet. I got to do some more research on that, but numbers have been down the last couple of games. Just seems like he's just been more of a role guy. But if that's what we need him to do to take that, I think his threes have been up percentage wise. So if he's just kind of moving into a little bit smaller of a role and taking that piece on, that'll be awesome. Also, of course, Foley said last episode how great our free throw shooting is. And then I think we've shot ourselves on the foot multiple times in free throws. Like, man, come on, free throws. They were going so well. Stop it.
Yeah. You just hope Chica's not shooting it on in a moment where it really matters. Yep. I think our best free throw shooter, just from my eye, is Jed Miller. And he gets it only in during garbage time. So, I don't know.
All right, guys. Anything else to add on kind of that side of the house of the last 3 games? Looking forward to Portland State.
Dude, I'm going to jump ahead. I'm looking forward to next Thursday when Eastern comes to Bozeman.
That's going to be a big one. I hope Bobcat Nation come out for that one. I hope we have just the same amount of energy that we have when we had the Griz in town. I mean, that's going to be a huge game. Man, if we win that one, I'm going to be elated.
Yeah.
I don't think it meant change a lot of my statements and like stances through the season. But I think the only thing it's going to be, like I said, with the Griz, where that could be that signature Logie victory. He didn't get it against the Griz, but if he pulls that out against Eastern and Eastern's coming in undefeated in conference, that'd be a big one.
It's a tough looking at the next like 4 games, kind of 3 to 4 games seems to be kind of the chunk of time that we talk about recap games and preview games. It could be tough. At Portland State, who just hammered the Griz. We got Eastern at home, like you said, Idaho at home, and then we got to go back to Greeley. So, I mean, there's a chance the Cats could drop 3 of those games.
Yeah.
I think a fair chance the Cats could drop 3 of those games. So if we come out of that 2-2 or 3-1, I'll be feeling pretty good about the squad.
I feel lucky that we are we don't have to play Eastern until the end of the year at their place. I think we catch a break. We've had that the last 2 years, I think. And I think this year I potentially will be meeting Foley over there for that game. So we're kind of in the preliminary planning process of that, but we're hoping to get over for that game and do a little in-person stuff and see how that game goes. Maybe an in-person pod afterwards.
Fun.
I'm down.
Jealous. I mean, I'm not jealous.
Set up shop over maybe at Perry Street Brewing and then
there you go.
Have some beers and
little ambiance music. It'll be a good time. Yeah. Hopefully it's a good kind of season wrap up at that point, but kind of tentative planning in that, but hopefully we'll get that and see kind of where the season goes. But man, I said it earlier and it's another thing of perspective of, I think my stance still stands that the ceiling, the top is success for this year would be making the semifinals of the conference. And we talked about the last 20 years of before this little Danny Sprinkle run, how many, Big Sky tournaments we went home empty handed. And now we have the chance to, continue. Would it be 4 tournaments in a row winning a game? mean,
I think that
that'd
sounds right.
awesome. Yeah. Since 2019, I think was the first one where we won a game. And then, man, if we could get back to the semifinals of the Big Sky Conference, I'll be elated going into next year of what this team can do and what we can do going forward, kind of with this coaching staff.
If we make it to the semifinals, I'll be a pretty big believer in Logie.
Yeah. That's a safe statement to say.
You think Montana State's going to get a bye?
I don't see it out of the realm of possibility. I think some things would have to maybe fall our way. I don't think we can do it on our own. I think some other teams are going to have to lose some games.
Yeah.
Is it 4 teams to get a bye?
I got to look into that. Don't quote me.
I don't remember anymore.
I just thought it was the top 2 because they changed the rules because it used to be something else. And then they changed it last year to go to like the Gonzaga format.
Did they actually change it?
Yeah, I thought they changed it last year, which was funny because they were trying to like protect. It's a way to protect your top 2 teams a little more. And then Eastern lost to NAU in the first game, which was kind of funny.
I thought they were just talking about doing that. I remember them doing that. Yeah, I do remember that. That was a poor Eastern.
Yeah, it wasn't a poor Eastern.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yep.
Oh, man. Yeah. Anytime the Grizzlies or the Eagles lose, a little happiness just bubbles up inside me.
That might just be the chili speaking.
Or the Miller Lite.
Rainier. Let's get it right.
Okay. My mistake.
All right. Thorny, I'll throw this one your way. I talked to Foley about this last episode. He gave me a pretty good answer, honestly. I kind of chewed on it for a couple days, but another article out today, another kind of thing with the fan base of how we can't kind of keep our eyes off the success / moving ups of coaches who have now left us. And it seems like kind of Missoula's dealt with this. We were talking about how the Griz, DeCuris has been there for a while, and with Houck getting the new contract, it seems like we've had some turnover, some changes, and not for the worst with kind of the stuff. But kind of, what's your opinion of what's going on? Danny Sprinkle's got a top 25 team, which I didn't see coming. He's got Utah State on the up and up, and yet we still have a lot of Bobcat fans following, especially even in the media. A lot of Bobcat media still kind of going on that. I'd kind of like to get your take and see what you kind of have to say about this. And if you have anything else, by all means, jump in on it.
I don't know. I'm a kind of a cold cut guy. Like, he's gone. I don't want to think about it much anymore. I'm not going to, it's clean break, I guess, is kind of the phrase I was going for on that one. Especially Choate. Like, Choate hasn't coached a game at Montana State since 2019. Stop talking about Jeff Choate. I know people like him. There doesn't need to be a 15-page thread on Bobcat Nation about Jeff Choate being hired at Nevada. It just doesn't. Danny is much more recent, and he's a Montana guy, Montana State guy. I think there's a lot more interest in that, and I get that aspect of it. So I can see following that, and there's some guys on the team that were literally playing in Bobcat uniforms last year. It's still really fresh. So I can see that side of it a little bit too, but I think the focus should be on the guys and the coaches that are in Bozeman and Montana State coaching their butts off for the fans.
Yep. I'd call it, I think we almost have forgetting Sarah Marshall disease at this point as a fan base, where every time I try to forget about it, it's just right there, like on Twitter or something. It's like, oh, yep, that's cool. So that's kind of where I'm at on that topic. And then I'll do a little wrap up, boys. We have a new offensive coordinator on the football side. That's pretty sweet.
I know we've been meaning to record about that, and it just didn't end up happening. I'm excited for it. I think it's a good move.
I think it's an awesome opportunity for a new coach, and wishing Coach Housewright the best. I know he was a polarizing figure with the Bobcats. Ran a pretty tremendous offense. Was there for the national championship title run, and then just he's had some pretty electric offensive plays and stuff the last couple of years. So I know it's a little polarizing. I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm excited. We have 2 new young coordinators who are going to get some awesome opportunities next year, and I'm jonesing for spring ball when it hits, because we don't have a spring sport here in Bozeman with spectators. So I know as soon as basketball's done for me, I'm going to be right back on the football side, getting ready for spring football, ready to go.
Some big storylines coming up. Tommy Malott, is he going to be the sole guy who's going to be the backup quarterback. We're going to be looking at both coordinators, like you said. In addition, in the quarterback's coach, a guy named Keaton.
Chucky
Keaton. He's coming on staff from Utah State. So I'm
excited to see a guy come in
Sarah
and
Marshall
work with Tommy. I think that's going to be good for Tommy's development.
I think it will too.
But that's kind of an underrated hire.
Yep. All right, guys, do you have anything else to add tonight? We got a big game against Portland State coming up. Women's team getting another big win. Hopefully they can get healthy. Hopefully everybody does good on that. And we got a big run coming up. Students, get out. Let's pack that place again. That was so cool. Such an electric. I can't say enough about how good that energy was. It was awesome. I wish you guys could have felt it through the TV. It was sweet to see everybody there. Sweet to see the cheering. Everything was just awesome. So, man, this could be such
Zach,
a good
was
season.
there some good taunting towards the Grizzlies? That's what I want to know. Good heckling.
Some words I probably can't use on here, but yes, there was quite a few. It wasn't overall too bad. It was pretty good. They did a shirt brawling since I think 83. It was pretty cool. I mean, there were some cool shirts, but just to see that whole place packed it felt good, especially after a lot of the games I've been to, just this December where there was barely anybody there. It was sweet to see the fans back and that place believing again.
Yeah, I always went to those games. I usually stayed around campus. And as a student, I just walk over there and be like the only one in the arena, I felt like sometimes. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun in a way, but yeah, it's good when the brick is rocking. It needs to happen more often. So show up, especially for that Eastern Washington game.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. If we can get everybody in the place, I think that would help. I think it helped us against, we didn't win the game, but I definitely felt like the energy and kind of the momentum at times was on our sides against the Griz. So,
Zach,
right,
I'm going to give you a little bit of... Hold on, Zach. I'm going to give you a little bit of homework. Go back and listen to an episode. Ryan and I, we interviewed Zach Minter. And Zach Minter was all-time defensive great lineman for us, but he was an intern for Bobcat basketball during a grad season of his. He has a hilarious story about a chocolate bar in a diaper.
I can only imagine where this is going.
Yeah, it's hey, and put this out there right now. I think this might be our 200th episode, or we're really close to it. So just keep an eye out on that. But this would have to go back to we're talking years. But he has a hilarious story about working a basketball game, trying to do some promotional stuff with the student section. And I'm just going to put it at that. I'll just leave it there. So go back and listen to that episode. It is hilarious. It's one of the best moments on the podcast.
That was a funny episode.
I'll have to dig back in the time capsule. But man, congrats for 200 guys. I know you guys have been doing this. I'm happy to be a part of just a small sliver of this. But well, again, what you guys have done for the fan base, what this outlet kind of is, I think it's awesome. So
thanks. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for being a part of it. You're doing great.
Absolutely. Well, with that, I'll get you out of here with the Go Cats, guys.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.